Peace, and welcome to another Nine Mind Radio. I was supposed to do one last night and got caught up in some studies, so I decided to do one tonight, just to give you an idea of the different changes I've been going through within myself, within the last year, and just since the beginning of my birthday, which was April 13th of this year. Realizing that this is the year of 9 for myself. My number is 9 for the year because I was born April 13th, which is 413. 413, that's 17. You follow, and then you take your 2017, which is another 9. Put it all together, it equates to 9. So all you have to do is take 4, take 13, and take 2017, and you have 9 all over again. So in reality, the year of 9, which is this year. That's the main reason why. Another reason why is because I decided to, get the scarab beetle on the 9 Mind hat, because Kepara is symbolic of 9, and he was male deity who transitioned from the scarab to a sun deity. So it was death and it was reborn, because 9 is a symbolism of an ever cycle that constantly revolves, and because 9 is the only number that equals itself. And of course, something I learned from my dad, which was 9 to 9 power of 9, is the eternal number. So it's a constant cycle. But in reality, also, another attribute, of course, is to condense it, to simplify it. It's death and rebirth. And for me this year, it's about death and rebirth. The death of certain things in my life. Wanting to be specific, it can be, for me, the death of, let's say, addictions. It can be, I had several addictions, and they were the death. They were the death of me for several situations. And they end up repelling a lot of people from me for many years, and also very recently as well. But then purging them from me, it now became a time for rebirth, which was 9. And then also when specific people, not just somewhat specific people, but just generally people who have come and left, have come over the years and then they're gone. Their leaving is a death process. It's a dead process. They no longer serve purpose in your life, and new people coming in, that is a symbol of rebirth. That is 9 all over again. Okay, and even the symbolism of leaving specific organizations, that is no longer conducive to your birth. Conducive to your growth, because 9 is also a symbol of growth as well. And that becomes a death, because that ideology or organization no longer is conducive to you. So then it becomes a time where I myself embrace African spirituality in certain forms, whether purest form, whether it be Vodun, many forms. I just named one that I'm actually studying right now, which is Vodun right now. And that is another symbol of rebirth. And what happens is, for myself, recently I went through bouts of depression because, again, I was losing certain people in my life that I really held dear to my heart. And what happens is, you're rebelling against that death. For myself, I rebelled against that death, and not realizing, after having a reading on the Sunday leading into my birthday with the sister Levita Rue at her shop, it's time to purge. It's time to move on. And those who no longer feel, because sometimes you can have people in your life that either will take and remind you of something, or you can bring them to a situation, and it's like a bus. When the time, for the stop to get there, and you're at that stop, so it's time for that stop to time to get off. And for some people, for myself, I've always been a person that becomes attached to situations very quickly. And I'm learning over the years now, now I'm 36, 3 plus 6 is 9, to learn how to not so much separate, but not get so attached to individuals where it becomes toxic to myself. And it's crazy because some people in this world, they want to see change in you, but then when you become the change, all of a sudden there's a problem. And that's something I've dealt with from many people I've been around over the years. They are comfortable with seeing you in a specific position. They're comfortable with seeing you in a specific ideology. They're comfortable with seeing you always sad, always gloomy, always down. But then the moment you get up and you change your spirit and your vibe and your frequency, all of a sudden there's a problem because you're no longer predictable to them anymore. So now you're stepping into, well, for myself specifically, I'm stepping into a situation where now I am in control, and I now can apply what I feel is necessary and conducive for real change and real growth and real application in my life. Because at the end of the day, for myself, I can no longer worry about who sees what in the perception of an individual. It doesn't make a difference to me. Because at the end of the day, it's about your growth. Because truth be told, if you haven't really purged certain situations within self, then as a good brother that I know here in Houston already said, it will penetrate whatever purging you think you're trying to do. It's going to come right back anyway. So you have to be ready to do the real purge and to do the real necessary needs for growth. Because growth and development is very necessary in this time of African spirituality. That's the reality. So for myself, right now, I'm learning to leave things, regardless of what it is. This is a general statement, in the time of the dead. Because if they're not conducive to myself, it's going to be time for me to move on. And then and switching from just personal, but then into general, this is the year of 9, and it's the year of death and growth. We have to be able to, we're going to see a lot of death even further, of course. We had Baba Shango here that died in Houston. I was really sad about that because he was a big contributor to us as African people here in Houston, and it's crazy because we have to be able to see the signs. Most of us don't see them. We just want to we want to look into people and see what we want to see. But those individuals who are in tune with the change are the only ones that can see the value in what they see and the signs that they see. You understand? So it's for me and for other people that I've been around, it's all about application now. It's all about what is conducive to change and proper growth and development, and really applying the principle that I learned also in Wally Barudi's books. One of his books, which was called Asafo, when he said everything has to revolve around African spirituality and the education of African people. And nothing else, everything else is irrelevant. So for me, it's all about what is relevant to change and growth within self. Because you can tell when someone has really made a change when their vibe begins to change. Realize that's that time. You're gonna have a downtime, and that's reality. That's why I hate when people say, I never get depressed, I never get down. I'm like, to me, that's fake. Because you're at some point, that downtime is that death of an emotion, and then there's going to be a rebirth in self, and that's when 9 begins to take shape and form itself. So that's my explanation for where I've been and where I'm going in life and time. At some point you got to drop people off. Some people drop you off, and that drop off, that if people drop you off, people have dropped me off. So I have to look at that drop off as a necessary time to look within self and say, yo, it's time for you to get it together and move on, and not worry about why they did what they did and you trying to impress the individual. Who cares? At the end of the day, it's about you personally and you being able to become the better you and being able to constantly do what is necessary for change and growth and proper development of an African. That's what it's really about, truth. So just wanted to do this quick one. Again, we're going to go right back to doing Nine Mind Radio and Facebook Live as opposed to doing the conference calls. I think it's best to start really interacting with people now more. So I just wanted to get this out there and just give you a clear definition of where I am within myself. So just want to say peace and Hotep and Black Power.